Hello everyone, myself Anil Bandulaya. So in our lecture 4 of module 2 in object oriented concepts, we'll discuss about the operators, concept of operators. So here we'll understand in Java how many operators are there, and we'll also work each of these operators. Like by taking an example, we will see how these operators work. Okay, yes. So let me take you to the next slide where we can see. Okay, so in Java we have different operators, that is arithmetic operator, relational operator, logical operator, assignment operator, increment and decrement operator, conditional operator, bitwise operator, and special operator. So first in our, let us come to our arithmetic operator. In our arithmetic operator we have plus, minus, multiplication, division and remainder. So let us take one example and understand how these operators work. We'll take one of the example, and there we can check all the examples. Okay, so let me take you directly to the programs. Okay, so what I am going to do is nothing but I am going to show you the program, okay, by taking an example in NetBeans, because we have already worked out writing the code in the notepad, and we have seen how the output comes. Okay, so you have seen in our previous lectures, but I till today, okay, I have not shown you how to work with the NetBeans. So let us see the NetBeans. Okay, so first of all, before working with NetBeans, as usual students, you have to install the JDK. Okay, once you install the JDK, you can install the NetBeans, which is, and both of these things are free, and currently JDK 16 version is going. So how to find out which version of JDK you have installed? So for that, it is very easy students. You have to go to the command prompt, type cmd. Okay, then here you need to just press java dash version. Okay, so when you write java underscore version, okay, automatically and it will give you the version. So you can see here students, I have written the code as java underscore version. So you can see here whatever I am underlining, so that is the java version, and you can see 16.0.1. so your JDK version is 16.0.1. so that is how you can see. Okay, so that is about the command prompt. So students, we have seen working with the command prompt and this one, okay, command prompt, but we have not seen how to work with the NetBeans. So let us see how to work with the NetBeans. Okay, at least one example we'll take, okay, where we'll work with the NetBeans. Then we can again work with all other programs with our normal way. Okay, notepad. So I am using this notepad because it will be faster. Okay, since we use the command prompt here. So let us just go to, but students, remember one thing: when you are doing the most advanced thing and all, okay, advanced options and all, so that time you need NetBeans only, or you need one more editor called as Eclipse. People use either Eclipse or NetBeans when we do exam, but we advanced concepts, but we are actually trying out the simple things. Okay, yes, so we can work with either normal thing, notepad, and the command prompt, or the NetBeans. So let me take you to NetBeans. I have already installed, so my version is Apache NetBeans IDE 12. Okay, so this is my thing. Okay, so you can just check for 16th latest version of JDK and latest version of Apache NetBeans. So the right now 12. Okay, so when you install it, maybe 13 also, I don't know. Okay, so this is the latest one available. So just click here, double click. Okay, yes, so I'll just give yes. So you can see it is loading. Okay, it is loading now. Apache NetBeans is loading. So once it loads, okay, now once it loads, we need to tell the packages and all. Okay, so I'll just show you. So I'll just show you how to run these things. One simple program we can run in NetBeans. Okay, yes. So you can see this is the NetBeans editor. So I need to first create a project, students. Okay, I need to create a project. So how do we create a project? Go to file. Okay, go to file. Once you go to file, go to new project, because now we are doing a fresh project. Okay, so then here you have various options. Okay, so you have Java with Maven, Gradle, Ant and all. So right now we are just doing Java with Maven. Okay, Java with Maven. So I will just click that Java with Maven, and I will check the Java application. So here when I click these things, and it automatically next will come here. So when I go to next students, it will tell me to give the name of the project. So here I will simply I'm going to add two numbers and show it to you how to add. So I'll just give add project. Okay, add project. I'll just new, this is my name. So it will also sometimes ask you where it is stored. Okay, project location. So you can see here it is stored in eJava projects. Okay, eJava projects, all my files are stored. Okay, then it will also ask you group ID, so you can make one group ID. Then afterwards package. So automatically students, when you give the project location and your project name, automatically also your group ID, your package name will be group ID dot your name. Okay, so you can see here package name, it is in lowercase. Okay, package name, it is in lowercase. Automatically this will come, it will. Okay, so you need to give this and this. Okay, so when you give this and this and this, so this once you give, it will automatically take students. So all your projects will be inside Java projects. So this is how I had also done the various projects. Yes, so after you do this, okay, once it is done students, you all automatically go to finish. Okay, you can click the finish button. Okay, so your projects are created. Now where my project is there, that I have to see. So you can see students, I had already done few projects before, so like break example, all these things, hello app and all, but we don't want all those projects. We want the projects which we have done. So this add project is the one which we have done currently. Okay, we see I'm putting a rectangle. So let me just minimize all other projects so that the confusion will be avoided. I'll just minimize. See all these projects earlier I had done, that is break example, hello app, Maven, 11 and project 2. But now our is add project, which will simply add. Now students, you need to write, you need to write the code. How do you write the code here? Okay, simply you need to put a right click. Okay, put a right click on the add project, go to new. Okay, go to new, and of course we are doing a Java class now, so you go to new and go to Java class. So when I click a Java class, also this will ask you the class. Okay, class name. So for the thing, okay, always give, you can give any number. Okay, so I'll just give it the project name itself, add project. Okay, add project. So once I do students, look, my file will be created here, you can see. So once I finish it, okay, once I finish it, automatically my class will be created. Okay, so this is in add project. So you can see this class name and all the names, file names are same. So inside this, I'll simply type my project. I'll simply type the code. So that is nothing but public static void main. Okay, public static void main string arguments. Okay, so I told you I will be showing you about the I'll be showing you. So you can see automatically it will, once you put a open bracket, automatically it will put a closing bracket and all. You need not put the bracket here, automatically it will do it for you. Okay, I'm adding two numbers here. Okay, so I'll simply I'll add and show you two numbers. Int a declaration is normal students, a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. I'll just add these things. Okay, and we can see. Okay, we can also see some other other operators also. We can see other operators also. So what I'll do is nothing but I'll just put 120. Okay, so that it will be okay for all. So what I'm doing is system. So how do you print students in Java? It is nothing but system, S is capital, remember here, system dot out dot println. The why println? Because I want everything to come in a different line. So I can put it here, sum is. Okay, so give a space here so that it will be, otherwise it will be like there won't be a place between the sum and the next your answer. Now how do you write answer? Concatenate it with the variable sum. So when if you are putting it sum, means you have to calculate the sum first of all. Okay, so how do you calculate the sum? So for that I'll also declare a variable here called as sum. Okay, I'll also declare a variable called as sum. Yes, so once I do it, I have to find out. So sum is nothing but, it is nothing but a plus b. Okay, sum is nothing but it is a plus b. So yes, so now I have already found out the sum students. So now it will run. Okay, now it will run. So sum is calculated, our result of sum will be here, and this is your output. So if everything is proper now, it will come like this. Okay, so if you have to now if you have to do the minus operation, what you have to do, you have to put minus here. Okay, for multiplication put star here, but by division put division here. For modulus, what is modulus? Modulus is a remainder operation. So for modulus you need to put modulus for remainder, finding out the remainder. So I'll show you any two here. Okay, so this is a sum, students, first example. Okay, yes. So once I do this, I have to run the thing now. So how do I run here? So you have this button, you can see here, this is for running the project. So I'll just click on it. Okay, I'll just click on it. Okay, so it is telling you no main class found. Okay, so it's giving you no main class found. So what you are supposed to do now? Okay, you have to select the main class. So for that, okay, you need to go to the option here. So students, now we have seen that we get a message there. Okay, whenever we pressed on run, we got a message like you need a main class. Okay, so for that what you need to do is nothing but go to the add project, and from the add project you have to press on the properties, and from the properties you have to go to the run, and in the run you in main class you need to give the main class, and our main class is nothing but add project. So when you do this add project, it will get the main class and give the okay. Okay, so now I'll just try to run it again. Now when I'm trying to run it again, it will get the main class. Yes, so we can see now, students, so we can see here, so it already got the main class. Okay, by that, so when I did that, automatically I got the output. Now where is my output? It is in the console which is below. So can you see sum is 120? So this is my output. Okay, this is my output. See, output will be running here. Okay, which is nothing but 100 plus 20. It has added and given me the thing. Now this is how you have to work with all other operators, arithmetic operators. Okay, so for practice, let me give you one more. Okay, one more. So I'll just do the remainder. Okay, let us just work with the remainder. So I'll just give remainder. Okay, now which is the operator for the remainder? It is nothing but percentage. So shift percentage. So but remainder you also need to declare it first. Okay, so remainder, I will just give it as remainder. Okay, yeah, once I do is, now I'll also have to out the system.out. I need to do that remainder also. Okay, so remainder. Okay, remainder is plus, what is the variable for remainder? It is nothing but remainder. Okay, so once you do that, it will also come. Now just run it again. Okay, now every time it will not ask you the main class. So we can see here remainder is 0, students. Okay, why the remainder is 0 in the output? Because when you find the remainder, that is 120, what will happen when you try to divide 100 by 20? What is our remainder? It is nothing but 0 only. Okay, this is a quotient. So your remainder is 0. So that is why your remainder is 0. So this is how you can also try with other arithmetic operators like minus, star and division. Okay, so in the same program you can substitute and put the line. Okay, so that is how you work with the arithmetic operators. This is how you work with the arithmetic operators. So of course you can see the output here. Okay, so here output you can see. Yes. So that is about the arithmetic operators. Now let us see the rest of the operators in our normal way only. Okay, so we have seen, students, it takes time. So when we have to discuss more programs, let us see their own itself. Okay, so now I hope you have understood this, how to work with the NetBeans. Okay, so let me close the NetBeans. Okay, and let us go back to our PPT. Okay, let us go back to our PPT. Yes. So next type of operator is nothing but relational operator. So here we just do the comparisons. We know that. Okay, so whenever we do the comparison, we use this relational operator. You have 6 relational operators, that is less than or equal to, greater than. So this arrow, it is just like this. Okay, so this someone has written a bullet instead of that, which is just like this: greater than, equal to, equal to is double equal. What will happen if you put single equal? Then it becomes an assignment statements. Okay, so this is single equal and this is not equal to. So let us use this operator, okay, along with the logical operators, and we will see the one program. Okay, but before that, let me also show you the logical operator. So in the logical operator section, we have 3 logical operators, which is nothing but logical and logical or and logical not. Okay, so this you can see here, that is double and means logical and, double or means logical or, and logical not means this. Okay, yes. So let me see this. Let us see one program and let us understand the concept. Okay. Yes. So I'll just take you to the folder. Okay, I'll just take you to the folder. So I have saved it in E. Okay, okay, now I'm going to the location where my program is there. Okay, so it is in E. So if I say, if you forget the folder name, what do you have to do? You have to see what kind of folders are there in E drive. So for that you need to press dir. Okay, dir. So once you press dir, you get to know the project. So I have saved my programs under this Java programs 2 folder. Okay, so I need to go to that folder first. So how do I go to that folder? I need to press cd, okay, command, then that folder. Okay, so we need to give the folder name properly. So I'll just open that. How do you open? You need to press the cd command along with the Java programs 2 folder. If you have to open 2, then I'll just print enter. So when I press enter, students, now which and all, what and all there inside is how you will see. Press D. Okay, yes. So we can see here there are lots of programs executed. Okay, so currently next we need to check our relational and the condition relational operators. Okay, relational and the logical operator example. So for that we have this program here, that is logical relational operator example. So I'll just open that program first, then I will compile. So let me see that program first. Okay, so how to open that program is nothing but simply write that program, logical relational. Be careful with the names, students. Okay, if you write the names wrong, then of course it will not open. Okay, operator example. Okay, we'll just verify the names are proper or not. Okay, that is nothing but logical. Okay, logical relational operator example, it's correct. Okay, now it is a Java file, so you need to press on java.java. So when I enter, so you can see the program has already opened. Okay, the program has already opened. So here we can see the program. Okay, so in this program, now let us understand the relational and the logical operators. Okay, example, how it works. So here let us understand logical operator table first. Relational operator we have already seen, we know. Okay, now this is the logical operator table. Okay, you have 3 logical operators, that's AND, OR and NOT. So you need 2 inputs for OR and NOT. To tell OR and AND OR, you need 2 inputs. So let us take the inputs in this way. Okay, where you have all the cases, that is nothing but in first case, that is both are 0, second case first is 0, second one is 1, third case first one is 1, third one is 0, second one is 0, and both are 1. So AND students, what happens is nothing but I told you, even if in AND students, even if one input is 0, then it is 0 only. Okay, so these 3 will be automatically 0, but here it will be 1, that is nothing but true. Okay, so 1 is always true. Okay, I'll just tell you, 1 is true, 0 is false. Yes. Now R students, it's exactly the opposite, where even if both are 0, then it is 0, but if one is 1, it is nothing but 1. Okay, so in this, all these are 1. So not how it works, students. Not is very simple. If not of 0 is always 1 and of 1 is always 0. So this table you need to remember. Okay, now only we can go to program. So this program, let us see what happens. So you have a class. Okay, class and the example. This is the name of the class. Okay, what is this? This is the name of the class. Then once again I will tell name of the class and your file name should match. Okay, should be same. Okay, then afterwards how do you declare? I have declared the things here. Public static void main integer. So 3 variables x, y and z with values also I have already given there. Now how do you print? So I print in this way. Okay, press system.out.print. So when I print, okay, let me see what is the output of this. So I told you logical relation operator output will be either true or false. So let me take this example first. So here I have inside the bracket. Okay, x and y, x and z, or y is x and z. So according to associativity, it is from left to right. Okay, so x. So what is x here? Okay, x is nothing but value. Give the value, that is nothing but 5. So 5 is nothing but greater than 4. Okay, and x is nothing but 5. Okay, y is greater than z, which is 7. So we have seen that or, okay, we'll just write out this case also. 4 is less than 7. So this is true. So I can write or then 5 greater than 7, this is false. Okay, this is false, no? 0. and y greater than 4 is 1. So 1 and 0 is always 0, students. 0 or 1 will be 1, which is nothing but true. So this is our first case. Okay, let us see the second case. In second case, this nothing but this one. Okay, so this one is nothing but true. Second case, let us see, which is x less than z or y greater than z. Okay, inside this and x less than y. So inside the bracket, whatever is there, we need to evaluate it first. So x is 5 less than 7 or y is 4 greater than 7. Okay, and x less than 5, which is nothing but x is nothing but 5 less than 4. Okay, yes. So what happens here? This case 5 less than 7 is 1 or 4 greater than 7 is false. Okay, 0. Okay, 4 less than 7 is 0 because 4 is greater than 7 here. But one case is true here, so this is nothing but true. And 5 less than 7, 4 is false, 0. So here this is nothing but 1 and 0, which is 0, which is nothing but false. Okay, so this one's output will be false. Okay, this one's output will be false. So that is how it works. Okay, this is how your logical and relational operator works, students. Let us see the output now. Okay, let us see the output. Let me clear the screen for you and let me see the output. So how do I execute? So you can see I have already executed for you and kept. Okay, I already executed it for you. So how do I execute? So I simply write the name Java C, the name, okay, name of the program dot Java. Okay, so this is nothing but it will compile. So this what happens here, it will compile, and what happens here is nothing but run. So we have seen that in our arithmetic example also. So what do you get the output? So you get the output as true and false. Okay, so first one is true, second one is false. This is what even we got when we have worked. So this is how your relational and logical operators work. Okay, yes. So now we will go to the next type in our PPT. Next type, so which is nothing but assignment operator. Okay, assignment operator. Okay, we have different types of assignment operator then, which is nothing but plus or equal to, minus equal to, star equal to, okay, division equal to, modulo equal to. What is this, student? This is our normal equals. Okay, normal equals. So here it is nothing but right to left. What is this? So if someone writes a plus or equal to b, what is that? A is equal to a plus b. So that is how it is. A minus equal to b. A is equal to a minus b. Okay, that is how it works. Okay, so we have seen this. Okay, this is how this assignment operator work. Everywhere we have seen this. Next, let us see the increment and the decrement operators. Okay, increment and the decrement operators. So there again we have two types, which is nothing but pre and post. Okay, pre and post. So we will see both. We'll take one example for both, and we will work with it. Okay, yes. So I'll just clear my screen. Let us go to the programs now. So let me start with the pre first. So first let us pre-increment. Okay, I'll just run this program for you. So it is nothing but, first let me open that program for you. So I'll just do it pre-increment. Yes. So pre-increment.java. So students, I have written like this. So this is how I write. Okay. So it is already opened. So we can see the program here. Okay, we can first understand the program. Okay, first understand the program. Okay, yeah, let me just zoom it for you. Okay, I guess not enough. I guess enough. Okay. So here we can see that all starts normal. Okay, all starts normal. So here it is pre-incrementing. That is the x value is, I have declared it as 10. It is pre-incrementing. X is getting pre-incremented. That means what? Okay, x value will become 11 and first increment. Okay, and send the value. Okay, first increment and send the value. So what is the value of y, students? Value of the y is nothing but 11 here. Okay, value of 11, and this one will be 11 only. X is already incremented, so it is 11. So you will get the output as 11 and 11. So we can just see that. Okay, we will just execute and see that. So how do I execute? Java C pre-increment. Okay, pre-increment dot Java. Okay, so compilation, there is no problem. So that is why I did not get any error. Yes. So can you see whatever I told, that same output we got. that is nothing but 11 and 11. X value and y value both are 11. Okay, yes. So next one we will go with the next program, which is nothing but post increment. Where is that post increment? Yes, we can see this post increment. Okay, so let me take you to the program. So I'll just open the program for you. Okay, I'll just open the program for you. Okay, so this one all we are done. It's a pre-increment program only. Let's close this. So how do I open? I open post increment. Okay, first, so I just write post increment. Post dot Java. Okay, so we have seen it's already opened. It's already opened here. I'll just zoom for you if required. Yes. So here also the x value I have declared. Okay, x value I have declared it as 10. Okay, so what is the y value here? Okay, y value will be nothing but 10, which is nothing but x value. So here first y value, x value is sent to y. This happens first. Okay, happens first. Okay, that is nothing but assignment. Assignment happens first. Okay, then increment. Okay, then increment. So what is the value of y? The value of y is nothing but 10 only, but whereas x value is nothing but 11. Okay, x value is nothing but 11. So that is the output. Okay, that is the difference here, because first assignment, okay, then the increment. This is the logic. Okay, this is the logic. Now let us see that. Okay, let us see that. I will just take you here and let me execute that. Java C post increment dot Java. Okay, yes. Okay, now let me run the program. There is no error. Post increment. So can you see, as I told, x value is, as I already told, we have checked it here. Correct? No, x is nothing but 10, y is 11. So same thing happened. X is nothing. Sorry. Y is 11, y is 10, and x is 11. First statement was y. You know, y is 10 and x is 11. So that is what we got. Okay, same thing we discussed. Same thing we got. Okay, so same thing we got. See here, first statement in our program. If you see, what was the first statement? It was y. You know, here system.out.print, it is y. So y value will come first, then x. Okay, so y value is 10, 11. So same thing we got the output. Same thing we got the output. That is y value is 10 and x value is 11. So this is the pre and post increment. So having understanding this, let us understand the next concept, which is nothing but post decrement. Okay, post decrement. Before the pre decrement we'll see. I have the program for that also. So I'll just open that program for you. Okay, let me open that program for you. So we have seen this program. Let us analyze this program now. Okay, so it's a post decrement. Okay, no problem. Let us understand this first, and next we can understand the pre decrement. Okay, then later on we can understand the pre decrement. Okay, so here what happens here? So that is ultimately see, x value is 10. Okay, so then this 10 was assigned first, decrement post. No, so first this 10 is assigned to y, then x is reduced. So here your y value will be 10 only. Y value will be 10 only. Then what is your x value? X value will be 9. Okay, x value will be 9. So we can see that output also. I'll just take you here. Okay, so what is it? Java C post decrement dot Java. Okay, so compilation no problem. So next it is nothing but execution. Yes, so can you see here, students? Can you see y value is 10 and x value is 9? So as I told, y value is 10 and x value is 9. So this is the post decrement. Now let us also see once again the last case, that is nothing but pre decrement. Okay, so let me open that program for you first. Pre decrement dot Java. So this program is already opened. Okay, now let us analyze first. Okay, let us analyze first. So here we have seen that, okay, here we have seen that x is 10, okay, and minus minus x, so it's decrementing. So here x is 10, okay, x value is yeah, x is 10 and minus minus. So here first this decremented value will go. So y is also 9 here, and even x is also 9 because x has decremented. So your x equal to y equal to 9 in this case. Both are having the same value. So let us see this also. Okay, so how do you execute Java C post decrement dot Java, then Java post decrement. Okay, so y value, okay, y value is 10 and x value is not post, sorry, it is a pre, right? It's a pre one. So we just executed the wrong program. Java C pre decrement dot Java. Okay, Java pre decrement. So can you see here, as we got what we discussed initially, we discussed that both x and y are having the same value 9. So same thing here, x and y both are nothing but 9. So this is your students increment and decrement operators. Okay, that is pre, post, increment and decrement operators. This is how you can run. Okay, so these things are common in logic, is common in your C, C++ or Java. The thing is that only the small syntax. Okay, like you write the Java programs inside the class and all, class, and here everything is object. So we also discussed on relational operators, assignment operators, increment, decrement operators. Let us next go to the conditional operator. Conditional operator is also called as ternary operator. So how does this work? First of all, so it's expression 1. If it is true, then this expression 2 will be executed. If it is false, then expression 3 will be executed. Okay, so this is the conditional operator or the ternary operator. So let us take one example for this same concept also, then let us understand. Okay, so let me check the program name. Okay, let me check the program name over there. So this is nothing but ternary.java. Okay, so let me open the program for you. Okay, it is nothing but ternary.java. Okay, so the program is, yes, it's ready. The program is ready already. Let me just zoom it a little bit for you. Okay, I will just zoom it little bit for you. Okay, so here, okay, here what we can see, I have two variables. Okay, I am declaring two variables, that is nothing but x and y. So x is 20. Okay, so if x now x is 20, now what is y? Now y is equal to x is equal to 1. So here x is nothing but 20. Now is 20 equal to 1? Now we know that it is false. Okay, we know that it is what? False. So that means what? That means what? What should come? 90 should print. So here value of y is nothing but 90 in this case. Okay, value of y is 90. Okay, next case what? Okay, so it will print system.out.println value of y is 90. So next is nothing but system.out.println. So here what is x? 20. So 20 is equal to 20, true. Okay, so what will print? Okay, this is true. Next case, so it is 61. So your output will be, what is will be output? Output will be value of y is 90. Next line, value of y is 61. Okay, so both ways it is println. So of course it will come in next line. Whereas if you write then just print, it will print after this. Okay, which we don't want. So and once again I'll tell you, class name and file name both are same. So let me just execute this program and show it for you. Okay, so I'll just do Java C ternary.java. So if there is error, it will tell the error. So there's no error. Okay, ternary. Okay, so we can see these outputs. Okay, what did I tell for you? I told that, okay, one thing is 90, first one, second one is 61. So if you can see the same here, value of y is 90 and value of y is 61. Okay, yes, so this is the ternary operator. So I told you, no students, all these things you can do it in, all these things you can do it on our NetBeans also. Since these are simple programs and I need to show you many programs, I just am doing it here for the simplicity purpose. Okay, so first program I showed in NetBeans also, you can do in NetBeans also. Next is nothing but, okay, we are done with almost all the operators. So now we'll discuss on the bitwise operators. So in our bitwise operators, we have bitwise AND, bitwise OR, bitwise exclusive OR, ones complement, shift left, shift right, and zero right with zero, shift right with zero fill. So let us see, understand the concept first, like what are these bitwise operators. Then after that we will see, okay, then after that we will see the programs on each of these. Okay, with that we'll finish our all the main operators. Okay, yes. So let us go to the concept first on the slide. So this is our bitwise operators. Okay, so this bitwise operator always they work in binary format. So here let me see the example first. Okay, this example I have taken A as 60 and B as 13. Okay, so this A as 60 and B as 13 in binary format is like that. So if someone is asking me how to write, sir, this 60 in the binary form, what you have to do is nothing but you have to divide this 60 by 2. So that time you get. So this is the quotient you write here, you remainder you write here, which is 0. So again quotient you write here, remainder you write here. Now again quotient you write here, 2 7s are 14, remainder you write here, which is 1. Again quotient you write here, remainder you write here. Again, okay, again quotient you write here and remainder. Okay, now it is very lesser than 2, so we have to stop, and you have to read from this way. So when you read from this way, it is nothing but 1 1 1 1 0 0. So this is 6 bits, so let me just make it 8 bits. Okay, so you have to append 0 in the beginning, which will not change its meaning. So this is nothing but 60 60. Okay, now if somebody is asking me, sir, how is this 60, how to see whether this is 60 or not, simply you have to do this way, which is nothing but 2 to 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4, and 2 to the power 5. Okay, and look at look students, whichever is having 1, no, only such things you need to count, all other things you need not count. So here these two are 0, I need not count. I have to count this, which is 4, 2 to the power 2 is 4. Okay, plus, and I have to add 2 to the power 3 is 8. Okay, I have to add 2 to the power 4 is 16, and I have to add, okay, then 2 to the power 2 to the power 2 3 4 5. Okay, this is also 5. Okay, this is 2 to the power 5. So that is nothing but 32. So when I add this, let me see what I get. Okay, 6 to 8, 8 8 16, 16 4 is 20. So 2 3 plus 1 3, 3 plus 3 60. So can you see 60? I am getting here 60. Okay, so this is how we convert from integer to binary and binary to integer. So what is this? This is nothing but integer to binary. Okay, if someone is asking me what is this, it is integer to binary, and this is nothing but binary to integer. Okay, so if you have to work with bitwise and understand bitwise operators, you need to know these conversions. Okay, otherwise it will be very difficult. Now knowing this, now let us see what are these concepts. Okay, now we have just discussed the conversions, we have not discussed what is bitwise operators. So here, and with our method students, we got this answer. We have seen we have got the same answer. Okay, so we had got 1 1 1 1 0 0. So when you make it 8 bit, you have to simply append it with 0. Always it is like that only. So when it is see, next is 13. So 15 is just 1 1, 13 is just 1 1 0 1. Okay, so 4 more bit if you add, simply append with 0 zeros, 4 zeros. Okay, so my A is 60 and B is 13. So let me work with all these operators. So first one is nothing but bitwise AND. Okay, this is what is this bitwise AND. So what is the rule of the AND? I had told you. Okay, AND is nothing but if one is 0 and another one is 1, then the result will be 0. So that is how here we have seen 0 1. Okay, it is 0. Again 0 0, it is 0. 1 1. So when both are ones, it will be 1. So x is 1. Both are 1 here also. So that is why it is 1. Then all other students here it is 1 0 1 0. So it is 0 0. And this is anyway 0, so it is 0. So what is your output? That is nothing but A and B is nothing but 0 0 0 0 1 1 0 0. So next is nothing but A or B. So let us see what is A or B. So we have seen it's here A or B in OR case. So always you have to start from right to left. Okay, so even if 1 is 1, then it is 1. So in our OR case is 0 1, it is 1. Then next one it is 0. Then both are anyways 1, it will be 1 1 only. Okay, then after that again 1 and 0 is there, so it is 1 1. Okay, then it is anyways 0 0. In the beginning both are 0 0, so of course it will be 0 only. So that is your A or B. Okay, so you can see this whatever is given in the slide and my answers are matching. Okay, and I have told you, now if you see this in the decimal format, I have already shown you integer format, whatever I told. Okay, so that is how you have to see. Okay, that is nothing but 2 to the power 0, that way. Next is nothing but this is exclusive OR. What is the rules of the exclusive OR? Exclusive OR is nothing but if both are like zeros or if both are ones, then it will be 0. Okay, like that. Okay, exclusive OR is if both are zeros and both are ones, means it is exclusive OR. Okay, it is exclusive XOR. Okay, exclusive OR XOR. Okay, so in this, if both are zeros or both are ones, then it will be 1, otherwise it will be 0. So if I write exclusive OR, then it is nothing but, so here I can see this is 0 and 1. So 0 and 1 means it will be 1. Okay, or if 1 and 0 means it will be 1, all other case. So here it is all 0 0 or 1 1, so simply write it 0 0 and 0. Okay, then afterwards here, yes, both 1 and 0. Okay, 1 1 0 0, and A and B you have to see. So it is nothing but 1 1. Okay, then of course this is 0 0 means it will be 0 only in exclusive. So this is how your exclusive OR works. Okay, then you are not. So complement is nothing but it is simply it complements the numbers. So complement of A is nothing but 1 1 0 0 0 0 1 1. But students, if you see in your answers, okay, if you try to execute this, okay, I'll tell you how to execute this programs. You will see some other answer, okay, and it will simply give you minus 61 or something. Okay, if you take 60, it will give you minus 61. Okay, that I'll show you. But what is actually happening here? So students, when a complement comes, remember, he always the first letter, if it is 0, okay, if it is 1, that is the most significant bit. If it is 1, then what you are supposed to do is nothing but you need to complement the twos. You need to find the twos complement of this. That is your output. Okay, find the twos complement again of this, of your complement. So what you are supposed to do is, how you find the ones complement, that is nothing but you simply flip the bits. Okay, so that is nothing but you do 0 1 1 1 1 0 0. Okay, plus 1. Okay, plus 1. So that is nothing but 0 1 1 1 1 0 1. Okay, this is your thing. Okay, then if you see that 4 5 6 7, now of course your most significant bit will be 0 only. So if you look here, this is nothing but 2 to the power 0, this is 2 to the power 1 0, so we need not take this because it is 0 here. So 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4 and 2 to the power 5. So I can, when I add this, I get 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4, okay, which is nothing but 60, plus 1, 2 to the power 0 is 1, so which is nothing but 61. But students, it will be negative. Okay, so that is how you get minus 61. Okay, if anybody asks you, okay, how you get minus negative, because simply if you complement this negative A, you get this. But if you try to find it out through our normal method, this integer, you will get some other answer. Okay, but in your compiler, it will show you minus 61, so you will get confused how it is. But actually what is happening is nothing but, if your most significant bit is 1, then it will flip the remaining bits and it will add 1, nothing but it will find the twos complement of the number, whichever I have put the rectangle. So that is how it finds. So this applies for all the numbers. Okay, this applies for all the numbers. So this is your first 4 bitwise operators. Now let us see the last one, last 3. I will also show you the example, students. I will also show you the example in this lecture only, for all the others also. Okay, all these ones I'll show the examples also. I'll execute and show you how to execute this. Okay, but first understand the concept, then I'll show you how to execute. Next, students, this is nothing but binary left shift. So this is the left shift operator, binary left shift, binary right shift, and binary shift right zero fill operator. So what is A here? Okay, now if I tell A2, okay, that means now what? This one, okay, this one, A has to shift by 2 bits. Okay, that is nothing but, if your A is 0 0 1 1 1 1 0 0, what you are supposed to do is nothing but you have to shift it by 2 bits. So when you shift it by 2, that is to the left, so it becomes 1 1 1 1 0 0. Yes, now these 2 empty places, it will be 0. You will append it with a 0. So when you find it out, okay, when you find it out using our normal method, whatever I told you, you get 240. Okay, so what is happening here? 60 was there and you are getting output as 240. So by default, students, if you do this, the meaning of that is nothing but 60 is nothing but you are divide 60 by sorry, this, that means multiply. Okay, multiply 60 by 2 to the 2 square, which is nothing but 4. Okay, so when you try to multiply 65 by 4, you get 240. Okay, so this is nothing but multiplication happens. So when you shift the left, multiplication happens. So like what if I give a, okay, 1, so that is nothing but you multiply 60 by 2. Okay, that is how it is. Okay, if a left shift 1 is given, it is multiplied by 2. Now students, and by understanding this concept, now we should know if you are going to do binary shift right, okay, binary right shift, here left shift, so it is exactly opposite, which is nothing but divide. Okay, so if you see 60, our 60 is nothing but for this one, next one, binary right shift, our 60 is 0 0, you can see here a, which is nothing but 60, 0 0 1 1 1 1 0 0. So you right shift. Okay, when you do right shift by how much here, example 2. Okay, so 2, so what you are going to do, you are going to shift it right. Okay, so 0 0 1 1 1 1. Okay, and left 2 will be appended by 0 always. So whatever empty spaces will be there here, that always it will be appended by 0 only. So once if you find out what is this, students, it is nothing but 15. Okay, if you find it out, 2 to the power 0 1 2 3, which is nothing but 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is nothing but 15. So what is happening here? Here, okay, in binary right shift, in binary right shift, you divide. Okay, you divide. Okay, so you divide. So that is the thing, you divide by 2 to the power square, that is nothing but 4. Okay, so when a is 2, okay, when a is 2, this is how it should be. When a is 2, in binary shift right shift, in binary right shift, you divide by 2 square, that is 4. Okay, so that is how 60, when you divide it by 4, you get 15, and that we have seen also, and that we have seen. So this is the understanding the binary right shift operator. Now next is nothing but shift right 0 fill operator. Shift right 0 fill operator. Okay, now here it is nothing but the left operand's value is moved right by the number of bits specified by the right operand, and shifted values are filled with zeros. That's all. Okay, so this is nothing but here if you give three arrows, that is nothing but shift right 0 fill. When it is 2 arrows, it becomes right shift. Okay, see, if 2 arrows to right means it becomes right shift, 2 arrows to left means it becomes left shift, but 3 arrows to right means whatever number is there, that much number you have to shift the bits. So if 2 is there 2 times, so of course once again this will be 15 only. Okay, because if 60 is 0 0 1 1 1 1, so when you do the right shift to do twice, so it becomes 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 1, which is nothing but 15. So this is all about your binary bitwise operators. Okay, so if anybody has not understood bitwise operators, you can always ask me, or otherwise you can simply see this video again, binary bitwise operators. Okay, I have explained everything about the bitwise operators here. Okay, yes, now it's time to see some programs to understand the concept well. So I will just take one example, okay, of our programs, like how we have seen the different examples. So first let me start with your bitwise AND. Okay, now let me see here bitwise AND. So once again, how do we see? We use Java C compiler. Okay, we use Java C compiler, then it is nothing but bitwise AND dot Java. So I do this and enter. So when I do this, of course there is no error. Okay, so it will not give you any error. Okay, but be careful with your file name. So bitwise AND. So I can see I am getting x and y is equal to 8. But what is the program? Okay, so we will just see the program once. So it is nothing but bitwise AND. Okay, it is bitwise AND dot Java. So we can see here. So I have given x as 9 and y as 8. Okay, y as 9 8. So when you now what you have to do, this 9 and 8 in this binary form. So you can see already we have written here in its binary form, it is a 1001 and x8 is 100. So when you do the AND, how do you do AND? 1001 and 100. What I told just now, if both are 1, then only it is 1, otherwise it is 0. So this is your output, which is 8. Okay, so I have done bitwise AND here. So it 8. So that is how you get 8. Okay, now how to print the value? System.out.println x and y. Okay, so you can see in output x and y is equal to plus x and y you have to write in the bracket. So when you do this, automatically bitwise AND will happen and your output will be 8. Okay, so this is how your 8 will come. Now the same concept holds for all students. Now the same concept, I'll just show you one more example. Let me show you the example of the bitwise OR will be also same. Now if one OR is there, what you would write? The OR. Okay, bitwise OR you need to write. Okay, now let us see the XOR. Okay, which is nothing but tilde. Okay, which is nothing but tilde, XOR. So this is OR. OR means you will get same way. Instead of AND, OR will happen here. Okay, that way. Now let us take tilde. So for that we have bitwise XOR or example. Okay, now let me open that first. Bitwise XOR example. So I will just type bitwise XOR example. So Java C bitwise, just see the name, it's bitwise XOR example dot Java. Okay, now yeah, before compiling I'll just open the file first. So you simply give like this. Okay, so it is already opened. Okay, it is already opened. Now it is nothing but Java C. Okay, now it is Java C. Okay, let us discuss the program first. It is nothing but, okay, now what happens here? Now look at the example 9 and 8. Okay, 1001 and 1000. Now what I told, if you have both zeros and both ones in XOR, it is nothing but 0 0 0. But if 1 and 0 or 0 or 1, then it is 1. So this is nothing but your 1. So that is how you get 1 when you do the XOR. So what happens here? XOR is performed. Okay, XOR is performed. Yes. Okay, that is the thing. Now let us execute and see. We have to get 1. Okay, let us execute and see. We have to get 1. So how do I execute? I simply give Java C bitwise XOR example dot Java. So error is not there. So Java C, error is there means it will show there only error. Okay, so what happens, students, when I do Java C, that time it will be converted into the bytecode, okay, which we had learned. Yes, so can you see we are getting it as 1? Okay, can we see we are getting it as 1? XOR y is equal to 1. So this is the XOR thing. Now our very interesting operation, that is nothing but NOT. Okay, NOT. So if you have the, let me see whether I have it for you. NOT example, we can see that if it is there. Okay, NOT is not there, you can try that. Okay, NOT you can try it. So whatever is next, okay, assigned right shift operator example. So we'll just see for that right shift. Okay, then others and all you can try by yourself. Okay, it is the same concept, just you need to change the operator there, that's all, nothing else. So I'll just try this example, that is unsigned right shift operator example, last example. Okay, yes. So you first let me open that for you. Okay, let me open it for you. So Java, okay, first let me open. It is unsigned. Be careful with the names. So unsigned right shift operator example. Okay, dot Java. So it is opened. So you can see, students, how we have used it. Okay, so here you can see. So this is how I use. See, I just need to put that. Okay, so this is unsigned right shift operator. So in unsigned right shift, it is not just the right shift operator, it is the unsigned right shift operator. Here three this thing. So what will happen is nothing but this 20. Okay, this 20, it will simply move it to right. So let how to see this. Okay, how to see the output. Now the 20 is there, I will just divide it by 2. Okay, 10, which is nothing but 0. So 2, remainder is 5. Okay, quotient is 5 0. So 2 2 to the 4, 1 2 1. Okay, again it is 1 because 2 ones are 2. Okay, again 2 ones are 2, which is 0. Correct now? Yes. So whenever even numbers is there, of course the remainder will be 0. So that is how it is. So I got, and again read it like this. it is nothing but 1 0 1 0 0 0 0 0. 8 bits we have to do, no? So 5. So now it is nothing but 2 to the power 0 1 2 to the power 2 2 to the power 3 2 to the power 4. Okay, so it is nothing but 16 plus 4, which is nothing but 20. Okay, so I got 20. Now my 20 is nothing but 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0. Now what do I do? The shift to 2 bits to right. So here what I do? Shift 2 bits to right. So what if 3 is given? Then shift 3 bits to right. So here I simply do that, and I append the first 2 bits as 0. Then write same thing, 0 0 0, then 1 0 1. Okay, right shift. Okay, 2 bits. So what do you have to get? Okay, what you have to get is the this is your output. So this is 2 to the 0, 2 to the 1 is not there, 2 to the square. So 4 plus 1, you have to get 5. So your output will be 5 for this example. Okay, your output will be 5 for your example. I'll just write it for you. Output will be 5. So let us check it out. Okay, let us check it out and let us see. Now if you have to say, simply check the right shift operator, what you have to do? Just put 2. Simply check the left shift operator, what you have to do? Simply put 2 arrow. Right. All other things are same, students. Nothing else will change. Okay. Yes. Now let me execute one program for you. So it is Java C unsigned right shift example dot java. So no error. Okay, now let me execute it. Okay, so here it is not able to load. That means the name is wrong. Again I'll type, right? Java so u is okay, unsigned u is capital. Okay, correct. Will be write it careful. Unsigned right shift operator operator. Example I had not written earlier, so that's why it did not execute. Okay, yes. Now you can see the output. Okay, what is my output? What I told you, it is 5. Output is 5. So can you see here x, that it is 5. Okay, it is 5. So this is our output. This is our output. So this is how we deal with our bitwise operators. So you can, I hope the bitwise operators is clear. I'll be very happy if you're clear. If you did not understand bitwise operator, please see from the beginning. Okay, yes, see once again. Now let me go back to the PPT and let us see the, okay, we are done with the bitwise. Okay, next it is nothing but special operators. Okay, now in special operators it is nothing but you have instance of operator. What is instance of operator? Instance of, so the instance of is the keyword here. Okay, so this is what, this is the keyword. So instance of operator is the object reference operator that returns true. So it returns either true or false, students. That is the thing. So it returns true if the object on the right hand side is an instance of the class given in the left hand side. So this operator allows us to determine whether the object belongs to the particular class or not. So students, here it's example person instance of student. So this person is nothing but it is a class and instance of student. What is student? Student is the object. Okay, so if the student belongs to person, okay, then it will be true. So in this case, if student belongs to class which is a person, okay, if what object? If object student, okay, object student belongs to class person, then it will return true. Return true. Okay, yes, so that is your special operators. In special operator, instance of operator. Now next is our common operator, dot operator. So dot operator, what we do? So it is used to access the instance variable or method of a class object. So always dot operator we write, it is nothing but object, okay, dot method, okay, or we also write object dot variable. So for these things you will require or, okay, to access the instance variable or method. Okay, so this is the case. So this is all we have from the operators, students. Okay, now let us just see the precedency once before we end out in this video. So all these are having the high precedence, students. Number is more means precedence is more. So in precedence 15 precedence you have the parenthesis, array, subscript and member. So it is associativity left to right. That means you have to go from left to right. You after that you have unary, post, increment and decrement. It's from right to left. Okay, this way. Then you have your pre-decrement and pre-increment, unary, plus, minus. Okay, then negation, logical negation. Okay, bitwise negation, all those things. So it is right to left, 13. Then after that you have, okay, after that you have our this thing or normal arithmetic operator, star. Okay, there you have star, division and modulus. So it is left to right, this way. Okay, that means what? If star and division comes in the expression, okay, that time first you have to execute star, then you have to execute division, like that. See, if a star b divided c is there, first a star b. If bracket is not there, if bracket is there, it will come because it is having higher precedence. That's why it is sitting at 15 there. Okay, higher precedence. So that is left to right. Then it is 11. So lesser than star, divide or division, you have division or modulus. Less than that you have addition or subtraction. It is from left to right. Then afterwards you have the bitwise, left, right and zero shift with zero extension. So this we have seen what is these things. So it is from left to right. Then 9 you have relational operators with instance of, okay, all these things. So it is having 9 and it is left to right. Then you have equal to and not equal to, which is relational thing, and it is not having any associativity. We know that it is always right to left only. Okay, yes. Then next afterwards you have the others one. So this is 7, that is bitwise and. So you can observe, students, these bitwise operators are having less precedence. Okay, yes. Okay, so there are some things. Okay, the bitwise and or. So this is left to right associativity and it is having 7, 6, 5 precedence. Okay, then you come logical operators. So logical and logical or. So it is from left to right. So it is having precedence 4 and 3. And after that you have the ternary, that is from right to left. Then last one is nothing but your assignment. Okay, so assignment, addition assignment, subtraction assignment, not simply assignment, it is addition assignment, subtraction assignment, these things. This is multiplication assignment, division assignment, modulus assignment. It is having the least precedence. Okay, it is having the least precedence. And associativity is from right to left. That is from, you have to evaluate from right to left. Of course, no, students, when you write a, b, how you evaluate? It is from like this. Okay, so when I write a plus is equal to b, which is equal to a is equal to a plus b, you evaluate from right to left. Okay, like that. You get the output of this and you simply give it to a. Okay, even if it is like this also, output of this is given to this. It is having the least precedence. Okay, this is about the knowledge of precedence. Okay, let it be Java. In Java, it is this way. Okay, yes. So that's all we have, students. Thank you.